Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Books, Crafts, and Purrs. My name's Leslie. Not only is it Native American Heritage Month, but it is the last Friday of November, which is Native American Heritage Day. I have just a couple of books to chat about. By the time I'm recording this, I'm not really sure what to call this because I'm not just going to cover artists. I'm going to cover, what do you call it? Bookstores and other companies that are Indigenous owned. And I thought this might just be a great way to talk about gift ideas as the holiday season it's right around the corner. It's like 2 days away. So here we are. All right. So the first book I'm going to talk about that I have not read is The Night Watchman by Louise Eldrich. I know that this is a beloved author. I just have not read a book by them yet. And this is one of those books that is collecting dust on my shelf. And I'll read a little bit about the author. Louise Eldrich fiction has won the National Book Award, the National Book Critics Award twice, and has been a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize. She has received the Library of Congress Prize in American Fiction, the prestigious Penn Saul Bellow Award for Achievement in American Fiction, and the Dayton Literary Peace Prize. Louise Eldrich, a member of the Turtle Mountain Band of Chippewa, lives in Minnesota with her daughters and is the owner of Birch Bark Books. Actually, I didn't have Birch Bark Books on my list, but now we're going to look that up too. Okay. Don't let me forget. So on the back it says about the book, Thomas is a night watchman of the jewel-bearing plant near the Turtle Mountain Reservation in rural North Dakota. He is also a Chippewa council member who is trying to understand the consequences of a new emancipation bill in the United States Congress. It is 1953, and he and the other council members know the bill isn't about freedom. It is a termination that threatens the rights of Native Americans to their land and their very identity. I've heard so many great things. Again, this is a beloved author. And actually, I think I did know they had a bookstore. I just forgot. But I haven't even checked it out yet. So we're going to check it out together today. Oh. Which one should I bring up first? I also really enjoy, I don't have that many, but I do enjoy profile type books like Notable Native People, 50 Indigenous Leaders, Dreamers, and Changemakers from Past and Present. And this is by Adrienne Keene. And I absolutely love the illustrations. And I'll give you a sneak peek. Hopefully, let's see. Could I do this justice? Maybe. Maybe not. I have a terrible memory. So what I really like about this is that whenever I want to refresh my memory about someone, like for instance, I'm focusing on Tommy Orange this month, and he does have a profile in here. And that's pretty cool. I like that I could read this author's book. And actually, I'll probably reread this little profile by the time I have a little mini wrap up for him. And I just get a chance to, again, refresh my memory. I get to learn about all these different artists I never knew about. And I love that. There's just so much that has happened in history. And, you know, it's nice to know that the people that are in this book are not going to be like forgotten, right? They're here permanently. Oh, I had the backup for this one. The next, it basically is a comic. This is a revised and expanded version. The 500 Years of Indigenous Resistance comic book. It's big. It's big. It's as good as it gets right here. This is actually, I don't want to say, it's not a profile, but having this comic book is actually really been helpful to contextualize some of the other books that I have on my shelf that I have read and some I haven't and that I'm going to get to. there is something I even read in here about. I have a book shelf over here, and there's a book that I really want to read, and it does take place in Mexico. And this book even mentions this particular instance in history, and I thought, oh, that's so wild that so many of the books I have read connect to this. This is another example that I've talked about where here's another an author talking about parts of history and really how they all connect to the present day. Like the history really isn't history; it's we're living it right now. And I really love that. I love when authors are really presenting that um, to frame what's going on in present day, right? And lastly, since I went so wild on the last segment, I talked so many books. Here's another profile. It's called My Life Growing Up in Native America. This is basically it's edited by IllumiNative, and apparently it's put on by MTV Entertainment Books. And I know this if this did not come out this year, then it came out like, oh yeah, it did come out this year in 2024. And what I really like about this is there's an artist I'm going to talk about in a little bit, Lady Shug, and they are profiled in here. And I just like that. I like that we get to know a little bit about different people and also their experiences. And it is that, I guess you could say, let's keep pushing the narrative that no people, even within one's own like specific culture, is not like a monolith, right? Everyone's having their own like separate specific experiences, because when people get a chance to say their specific experiences, there is a universality, there is a way to connect. And so I was really glad to pick it up. I wasn't supposed to be picking up any more books this year, but I am a fan of Lady Shug, so I couldn't help myself but pick this up. So that is the last book I'm going to talk about. And that's because I don't want this to be super long, as I said before, and I have plenty of other businesses I want to cover in this segment. So we are going to move on to Cheekbone Beauty, which is a makeup company. Let's see if I do this right. There we go. Let's go to the about story. They came up, basically Cheekbone Beauty came up in my Instagram, and I've been using them ever since. I just kind of tried it out because actually I have I'm allergic to a bunch of stuff, so you rarely see me wear makeup. I wish I could, but I can't. So I like their like lipsticks. Just personally, it doesn't bother my skin. My skin's like super sensitive. And there's a couple of other things that I use. I've also bought some for my daughter because I unfortunately passed on the problem to her. So she has sensitive skin too, but she's able to use this company's stuff and just fine. So here's Meet Our Founder. In January of 2015, Jen Harper had the most vivid dream of little Indigenous girls covered in colorful lip glosses. That dream is what gave birth to Cheekbone Beauty, one of the first Indigenous-owned and founded cosmetic companies. After reconnecting with her Indigenous roots and learning about the effects of residential schools from her grandmother, Jen set off on her mission to build Cheekbone Beauty and to create a space in the beauty industry where everyone, including Indigenous people, feel represented and seen. So as we kick off into this holiday season, just keep your eyes, open. You never know. Sometimes they have like deals going on. Oh, they have gifts under $25. That's good. You know me. Oh, I love this one. The lip gloss. I like their glosses. Again, there's like so much stuff that upsets my skin, but I don't know. I don't know anything about makeup ingredients and such, but that one works good and it doesn't bother me. And from there, give me 1 second. Oh, I love all their lipsticks. Anyways, sorry. We're gonna move on to another one. Let's see, how do I do this? Let's see if I do this. Right. I've talked about this company before, but let's do this. Oh, I came in. Okay. 8th generation. I think I did a book tag recently and I talked about the throwaway blankets here. So there is, oh, this is going to come out after. Okay. But just keep your eyes open because I'm sure they will have more Christmas and holiday, sales and such. And they already have their line open. Oh my God, this is so cute. You know what? I just realized I went to this page and I totally forgot to go to their about section. There's never been a brand like tribally owned. 8th Generation is a Seattle-based art and lifestyle brand owned by the Snoqualmie tribe. It was founded in 2008 when Louis Gong Nooksack, an artist, activist, and educator, widely known for merging traditional Coast Salish art and influences from his urban environment to make strong statements about identity, started customizing shoes in his living room. Now the first Native-owned company to ever produce wool blankets, 8th Generation is proud participant in the global economy. 8th Generation provides a strong ethical alternative to Native-inspired art and produces through its artist-centric approach and 100% Native design products. Our Inspired Natives project, anchored by the tagline "Inspired Natives, not Native Inspired," builds business capacities among cultural artists while addressing the economic impact of cultural appropriation. And let's check out what I love most, which is the blankets. So they have these like really heavy, great quality wool blankets. I tend to buy the throws. I just like having a throw. I live in California, so it's not like it's that cold. So wool blankets wouldn't really be like the best for me in California. I'd just like be sweating under there. But they do have throw blankets that are really nice. I actually bought the calling mounted throw for my daughter and my grandnephew. And this one over here, the balanced throw blanket, I have that one. You'll see me, it'll be on the back of my chair or I'll be wearing it at times. And it's just absolutely beautiful. So that's in a 8th generation for you. And hop on to the next one. Which you've also, sometimes I'll bring this company up during my sprints actually, because I'm usually talking about coffee and tea, and that is Native Ground Coffee. I love their teas. If you want some legit coffee, this is the way to go. Their stuff is too strong for me, or maybe I need to try the milder ones. But like, I don't know what I tried. Maybe it was Thunderbird because that one had me not blinking. Okay. So there's Arrowhead, Morning Warrior, Thunderbird. I've also ordered from the Not Invisible line because that means that I think the proceeds there's like a percentage. I wonder if it says it. It doesn't say it in this one. The ongoing injustice of missing and murdered Indigenous people is a culmination of the spectrum of violence and neglect perpetuated disproportionately against Indigenous people. It reflects the intersection of genocide, colonization, and violence against Indigenous people, including but not limited to domestic violence, forced sterilization, and trafficking. These crimes occur due to a long history of government laws, policies, practices, programs that continue to this day and create conditions that increase our Indigenous people's vulnerability. A portion of the proceeds go to the National Indigenous Women's Resource Center to learn more or to donate, and then it gives a website. So yeah, proceeds of this go to something else. And let's pop on over to the story. Native Ground Coffee is a Native American-owned coffee company from the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian community in Arizona. We strive to provide businesses and our communities with a high-quality coffee experience while inspiring others to take chances and improve this community. So let's look at the teas before we go on to something else. I love the teas. Every single tea I've had, it has been packed with flavor. Red Medicine is good. Moonlight, Shield, Hawkeye. Hawkeye is the one that I would rather get this instead of the coffee, although I love their coffee. It's just like really strong for me. Hawkeye keeps me alert and it doesn't do what any coffee does for me. I'm not talking about just their coffee, but coffee, which I love, I kind of have to not get too crazy with it because it just makes me anxious. But the Hawkeye tea is so good. It's even my daughter could have it, and my daughter is caffeine sensitive, but she's able to have the Hawkeye. So that's an option for you. All right, so this is Native Ground. Now I'm going to talk about I think I have 2 bookshops to talk about. So all right, so Black Walnut Books, an indigenously owned bookstore celebrating queer books and authors of color. Let's go to About. Black Walnut Books focuses on empowering, sharing, and amplifying Black, Indigenous people of color, BIPOC, and queer communities, voices, and authors. Hillary is a lifelong book lover from a family of readers. She is Southern Pomo and Coastal Miwok and a member of the Dry Creek Rancheria Band of Pomo Indians. She has worked in bookstores since 2009 and loves how books forge connections. Hillary started Black Walnut Books on Instagram in the spring of 2021 as a way to share book recommendations and create a community of readers that are actively focusing their reading on books that are anti-racist, inclusive, and decolonizing. In May 2021, she co-founded Indigenous and Lit, a book club focusing on current Native American fiction and nonfiction. And in December 2021, Black Walnut Books officially became an indigenously owned bookstore that sold books online and at pop-up events. In March of 2023, Black Walnut Books celebrated its grand opening at a brick-and-mortar location. It is now located on the historical Shirt Factory in Glen Falls, New York. That's good to know because that is another New York spot. The next one is also a New York spot. And a lot of these I found out about through Instagram. So you know what? For all the negative things people say about social media, I found a lot of community and a way to connect with other cultures, and it's just it's like a really beautiful bridge. At least that's been my experience. So this is an Indigenous owned company. Do they have an about section? As creative director, programming director, artist in residence, Relative Arts. Incubator for Indigenous Futurism. Relative Arts is a brick-and-mortar community space, open studio, and shop that showcases contemporary Indigenous fashion and design in New York City's East Village. Our mission is to provide a peer-run space that fosters the advancement of Indigenous futurism through collaboration, celebration, and education. We are Indigenous, owned, and operated by Karina Emmerich, Payulup, and Liana Shui Muskoki, and it's located in New York. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna have plenty of options. And they're gonna have all these. This is very cool. So in New York, this might be an option for you. I don't necessarily see them having anything to order in this way. Ooh, here we go. So you can shop online. Good to know. Love your relatives in New York. Love you. This is very cute. All right, I think that's the end of my shops that are more like brick and mortar type places or online. I'm gonna go and switch over to some more like independent authors. And let's see if this works. Oh, let's see if I could do it. Can you see Inuk? Okay, Inuk. Inuk is an artist that I follow online, and they are in Canada. So if you do order something, just keep in mind that you're gonna let them know if you're not in Canada. I mean, you're gonna give your address anyways, but when you order, so because the what do you call it, the shipping is gonna be like varied in price, right? They're an artist, but I've also seen them model. I think it was like for Sephora. You could buy them a coffee. You could follow them on TikTok. I follow them on Instagram, so I'm basically seeing the TikTok feed anyways, right? And it's very informative. I haven't checked out the website, but we could try. Oh, look at beautiful, beautiful jewelry. And you know what? They're going to be like, I guess you could say one of a kind, right? Because they're an independent artist. Let's say shop all. There's a demo. Maybe not go to a demo just yet. Let's go to their gallery. So this is exciting. If you want like a unique, like a very specific gift that, it's not something that's mass produced, right? You're going to get something unique. You could always reach out to her, especially before the holidays hit and and it gets really busy. Let me see. The next person is someone that I follow on Instagram, and that is Native Knitter. And I absolutely enjoy their Instagram. My daughter knows how to knit. I know how to crochet, so I still like to kind of peruse. And also, they have. Let's check this out together. Actually, this is their website. I'm going to be putting all these links in the description, by the way. So she makes beautiful patterns. I mean, that's gorgeous. I don't have I don't think I have the skill. And so it's written here, I'm Jen, the founder of Native Knitter. I'm here to share my Navajo heritage through Native focused knitting designs that help you explore your creativity while honoring Native American artists. So you could shop patterns and browse artisanal knitting accessories, which is pretty cool. So definitely, if you know someone that loves knitting and they want like a knitting notion, that seems pretty cool. Or if you want to make something yourself, but you want like a specific pattern, you could definitely like buy the pattern and download it, which is pretty cool. I mean, I love this one, the Eye Dazzler sweater. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And lastly, but not least, let me oh, excuse me. We have Lady Shug. Uh, Lady Shug also does drag, and they also make beaded work. Let's look at this together. I love this is what they have out right now. So by the time this comes out, I think this will also be available. But this is so like these ones over here, they're so beautiful. So if you want a bracelet that they've made that they're currently selling, you can always DM them. That's what I did. I actually ended up purchasing something, and I'll show it to you in a second. I really love orange. So, oh, by the way, I am wearing orange. I forgot. I love like orange, yellow, browns, and lavender. So their artistry, like their color schemes that they use, are basically like right up my alley of what I like. And this is just beautiful. And also, Lady Shug was mentioned in. Let me come back over here. In on the book I mentioned earlier, which is My Life Growing Up in Native America. So they have made a contribution here, and also here's my bracelet. I don't know if this is gonna do it justice. Bloop, 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 bloop. How do I? Ta-da! So just absolutely beautiful, sturdy. And that's basically it. That's the end of my segment. Hopefully I didn't make it too long. I try to blast through all these different artists. So just, as a reminder, the holiday season has arisen. And if you have someone that you feel like they're so difficult to buy for, maybe you should try something more specific, like one of these artists, whether it's a book or Lady Shug bracelets, coffee and tea, just something that isn't mass produced and you can't just pick up anywhere, right? So if you watch this long, thank you so much for supporting me. This was like such a last minute idea. I put out one video and I thought, you know what, I think I have some more ideas for this. And more importantly, if there's anyone else that you would like to highlight that also happens to be Indigenous, go ahead and just contribute in the comments sections, so that when other people traffic through, they can learn about other artists, bookstore owners, and such. So thank you for being here. If you're new here, please subscribe, like, and I look forward to your responses in the comments.